This is Shakona. She is what you get when you blend Astra Yao, Phoebe, and Arrow Rover all into one kit, being our first useful arrow pistol user. So, what does she do? Well, I'm going to quickly list the buffs that she gives, and then we could go into how her mechanics work. She gives 100% arrow erosion damage amplification, 24% arrow damage bonus, 12% arrow resistance shred, off-field spectral frazzle and arrow erosion application, another 15% arrow damage bonus from her set, and she does some damage on the side. Did I mention that all these buffs are team-wide for a 30-second duration? Yeah, exactly. Cool. Now that we know what her mechanics are, or her buffs are, let's talk about the mechanics. When Shakona uses her basic 4, she will apply 1 stack of arrow erosion to all enemies hit, following that up with an additional attack that spawns a clone on the field. And the clones just kind of start singing. They don't really do damage or anything of that nature, they just sing. You can have up to 2 of these clones on the field at a time, granting the whole team 12% arrow damage bonus, so 24% damage bonus maximum. Shakona's skill, she lunges forward, applying 1 stack of arrow erosion to all enemies, and if you perform an auto attack immediately after the skill, she'll start at basic attack 2. For Shakona's ultimate, she fully embraces her Astral Yao and just starts singing. She kind of summons a territory of, or a field of some sort. It's pretty wide, about Shorekeeper's ultimate wide, and putting you into a rhythm game, kind of like Osu, where you time how frequently you press spacebar to get a pulse sent out into this field that applies both 1 stack of Spectral Frazzle and 1 stack of Arrow Erosion. If you just swap out of Shakona, she will autoplay this minigame by herself, and you could just go do whatever you're doing on your DPS, and she'll continue to do this for quite some time. For her Forte, when Shakona has 3 stacks of Temperament, her heavy attack is empowered and shoots out musical notes, pulling enemies in and dealing some damage. You gain stacks of Temperament from casting Basic Attack 4 or Intro. Speaking of her intro, it just does some arrow damage, but if you cast Basic Attack immediately after introing, you will begin at Basic 3. For outro, the arrow erosion damage dealt by the entire team is amplified by 100% for 30 seconds. For her 2 inherent passives, the first allows it so summoning the backup singers either via ultimate or the additional attack following a basic 4, they will grant 12% arrow damage bonus each. And the second passive increases the damage dealt by her Forte enhanced heavy attack by 30%. One thing I wanted to add, the only real apparent reason, at least at this point, for the Spectral Frazzle application on her ultimate is so that you can swap into Arrow Rover and convert all of that into Arrow Erosion. She is quite literally made for this one team with these 3 particular characters. The 2 things to highlight. 1, she very clearly is not here to buff Gian, unfortunately so. And 2, she only works for a particular team that isn't complete yet, being the Arrow Erosion team, which most likely will be Arrow Rover and Cartithia, or Fertilise, or whatever the hell the people call her. So at the moment, she doesn't really have a dedicated team. So if you want to go ahead and pre-farm, these are all her stats, or these are all her mats. If you want to go ahead and pre-farm those. For her Echo set, I would suggest the new Arrow Erosion set, as she's going to be able to permanently keep up the set bonus, unlike Arrow Rover, so pretty good. And let's talk her weapon really quickly. So the weapon is a 500 base attack weapon with 36% crit rate as main stat, and its passive reads, increase attack by 12% when applying arrow erosion to targets. Arrow damage is increased by 20% for 10 seconds. Attacking enemies with arrow erosion will reduce their arrow resistance by 12 for 10 seconds. If you recall what I said, she basically starts playing Osu with herself, pulsing every like 1.2 seconds So she will keep this weapon active for the entire rotation, like 100% uptime. It's pretty damn good. It's going to do a lot for her in the arrow erosion team. It's a good pull, not a must pull, but I highly suggest it. Otherwise, not much more to add. She's pretty good if you're rolling for Cardathea. Otherwise, skip. If you want to know what Zani does, I also have a Zani first impression / kit explanation right here. Check it out. Otherwise, I'm out.